What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to But Is It Good? My name is Max, and today we are playing These Doomed Isles. This is a colony builder and deck building game, actually, with elements of tower defense built into it. But is it good? Let's find out. So you start the game in summer, and the game has 4 seasons, going through spring, summer, fall, and winter. And you have the cards at the bottom of your screen here are what you use to build your colony. So you can only currently build on the island that you have here, but you can actually connect these doomed isles with the land cards that you have. So you can rotate these and place them in different orientations. And by connecting them to other islands around the map, you're able to expand the amount of space that you have, which is kind of a cool mechanic. So this looks like a neat little island on the left there, so I want to expand to that. I think what we'll do, because of the shape of our land, is start building out in that way. Now, at the top of the screen, you have your typical resources, though some of these are actually a little bit unique. Faith and happiness are kind of interesting. And we've got 4 followers here, but you'll notice that we don't have houses for them. So we're going to have to build them these cabins, which we'll build in the vicinity of our shrine, just like this. And by building the cabins next to the shrine or in the area of the shrine, we gain additional faith per turn, per season. So when we end our season and head to the harvesting season here, we will gain 4 faith. And we won't get any gold or wood, and we'll actually lose some food. So we're going to want to make sure that we find the resources in the harvest phase, which is when you get new cards for your deck that will earn us gold, wood, food, and ideally happiness. If we can find it, we'd be pretty lucky if we managed to get that. Let's see what we got. We've got a panning hut. It gives us 2 gold per turn if at least 1 water tile is in range. We've got another cabin, which is always pretty useful, so I'm just going to pick that one up. We've got foragers, which I find to be really useful. Provides 4 food and 2 wood if at least 1 forest is within range, but it destroys the tiles in range each turn. I'm going to grab foragers. And then this one, the amphitheater, provides happiness, but it costs us 3 gold, and so it's a pretty expensive one to pick up. I'm just going to re-roll, and you can re-roll as many times as you want as long as you have the gold available to you. The tavern, on the other hand, is fantastic. Provides 1 happiness per turn for every follower or every cabin within range. We're definitely going to grab that one. And then I think we got one for food, but the farm is pretty good as well. Farms build up a stockpile of food per worker per turn, and then during the harvest phase, you actually get that food during that phase. Let's grab ourselves a farm as well. Don't want to spend all of our gold because some of these items actually cost gold to build. So I don't want to spend all of it. Like the tavern here costs 8 gold and 8 wood. So you want to make sure that you don't spend all of your gold all at once. But I definitely want to put the tavern down because it's going to gain us some gold. I also want... Oh, we didn't get our... Did I not take one for gold? Okay. All right, we're a little bit, I completely forgot to take one that's going to earn us some gold. Let's put this land down here. Let's put down a cabin for some wood close by to the tavern. That gives us both happiness. You'll notice we got plus 12% happiness now and some faith and end turn. I completely forgot to pick up one that earns us gold. Shoot. Okay, I'm going to have to remember to do that in the next season here, in the next harvest, before it gets too late. And new year. And let's build our way over to that land there. I love these little Tetris tiles. They're really fun to play with. And honestly, we can just fit our L shape in here. And a lot of the cards that you pick up, you can use multiple times. You'll see at the bottom of the card how many times you can use that before the card is completely used up. So we probably have 1 more use on our L-shaped land. Yeah. And the card is highlighted in red when that's the case. So we can place this down right there, and boom, we've got access to a whole new area of land that we can use to build on. Let's build that there. And luckily, we have another harvest phase before we get attacked. It's gonna be pretty tight though. I think we may have messed up this run because I don't have the gold to build defenses. So we're gonna press exit. We've got enemies now approaching from the northwest, so we get a heads up of where they're going to attack us from. But I think I may have totally whiffed it because we have no defenses to defend against them. Let's see. Enemies attacking from the northwest still. I don't think they'll be held off. No, definitely not. So they're going to attack us now and come into the village. I actually don't know and haven't seen what happens if you just don't defend against them. So we're going to find out right now. They love destroying all your little resources, even your rocks and stuff. Not just your buildings, but the rocks and everything else that you have around your village. So that's pretty brutal. Let's go into the harvest phase. We may have gotten lucky enough to be able to build a tower. Yeah, we could build a longbow tower. Let's grab that. And Earthquake is an interesting one. This is a spell that you cast with faith. Destroys the structures and then damages the adjacent enemies equal to the structure's health. I don't want to destroy our own structures, though. If we can get... Here we go. Crossbow tower. Much, much, much better. And hopefully... What have I done wrong? We have no wood. I didn't build the foragers in time. That's okay. Maybe we can make up for this. Let's build our forager. Everything is going to plan. Completely. Let's build this up like that. We can swap the orientation of these so that we get the most forests around our forager like that. End our turn. We might be lucky enough that these guys are just going to destroy rocks and not our... either our shrine would be the worst, actually. You lose the game if your shrine is destroyed. One more new year. Seems like they're going off towards the buildings over here. We may have gotten really lucky that they're kind of distracted by other things. Let's hope that's the case. I'm going to build up some more forest around our forager here, just so that they have more work to do. And right now, I don't think re-rolling our hand of cards would make sense, but you can always spend faith to grab a new set of 5 cards at the bottom. So you don't even just replace the cards you have left, you actually get a whole new set of 5, which is pretty sweet. Let's see. We've got no gold. We don't have any wood, really. Oh, we got a little bit of wood, actually. But we don't really have the ability to build a tower. Now, this card on the left is an interesting one. In order to win this game, you have to get a number of victory points. I think it's 100 victory points, maybe. I'm spitballing there. And this is a special wonder card that gives you a bunch of victory points. But if you place this, you will be attacked by a large-scale enemy attack the next turn. So you have to be really careful not to build this at a time that you're most vulnerable. Grabbing this right now, despite the fact that it's free, would just muck up our deck, but also we probably wouldn't end up building it because it would cause a massive attack to come and hit us. So I'm just gonna skip this harvest. This is not our best playthrough. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably better if we restart because our gold mine has 0 resources and they just destroyed our forager hut. This is a pretty difficult game, I'll say. Like, I feel relatively challenged when playing it. I'm gonna go ahead and just restart it. Let's give it another go. From scratch. There is a small tutorial that teaches you the basics of the game, but the game is really simple to pick up and really, really quick. So I don't think you need to spend too much time in the tutorial section. You can really just jump into the game and start playing. This is a great little island next to us because it's almost perfectly filled in, no holes or anything like that. So let's build in that direction. Same thing, let's get our cabins down. Let's get our land heading in that direction. Maybe we can even just connect it. Not with that. We can connect it with this turn. Perfect. And then let's start filling in the land in between and head to harvest. So, lessons learned from last time. We definitely need gold. So I'm going to grab the gold mine. It's probably the most important element I should have known from my couple of playthroughs. Let's definitely grab foragers as well. And fishing platform provides food, but the foragers do as well. So let's just re-roll and see what we get. Rockfall is what I've been looking for. Let's grab Rockfall and the Tavern. Now, Rockfall is a spell just like the Earthquake that I talked about a little bit a while ago. And what it does, and why we want it, is because the gold mine is going to provide us gold for every rock that's in the vicinity of it. But the rocks get destroyed every turn. So using Rockfall, we can actually cause a bunch of rocks to spawn around the gold mine. And now we're going to get 15 gold this season rather than the 6, I think, that was on there before. So much, much, much more improved, and I'm very happy with that. Let's think about where we want to place this, because we've got a forest that we can place next to the foragers. but the forest is a 4 long piece, like the golden piece of Tetris. I'm going to build this probably here, and then next turn, once they destroy this tree, I'll build a forest across here. Let's go ahead and move into winter. We've got ourselves the tavern, which I want to build for the happiness next to our cabins here. And then they didn't actually destroy the forest, which is interesting. Maybe it's a chance for them to destroy it. Interesting. I'm going to build up some land. Go into the new year. We've got rockfall again, and this can create a random number of rocks, 1 to 5 rocks in range. So I'm going to build this just so that all the rocks are adjacent to our gold mine. And now we're getting 24 gold per turn. And this is the kind of decision making that you have to make in this game. And I find it really, really fulfilling. Our foragers don't have a forest next to them anymore. And look at that. We actually have the other forest shape, the L shape, which is even better. So I'm just going to build that instead. And we've got some iconography here letting us know that the tavern isn't being worked by any workers. I think that's okay. Happiness doesn't really become a problem until it hits 0, at which point I think you lose the game or people start to leave your colony. If you run out of food, I think you also lose the game. So you've got to make sure that you don't run out of food. And if you lose your shrine, you also lose the game. So you want to make sure you protect your shrine by building defenses, which you're going to have in this set, in this harvest, the second harvest of the game. Let's grab the crossbow tower for sure. Palisades are all right. I think I'm going to skip on them. We've got a ton of gold to now kind of cycle through the options that are available to us. I'm going to skip on this. And nothing here looks particularly good. A longbow tower would be really nice. Maybe another gold mine as well, just so that we get even more gold. Would be fantastic. And then you've got some spells just like the rockfall. This one's actually the opposite. Celestial Axe destroys all the trees in range of it. And then you get 4 wood for every tree that you destroyed. So you can build up some really cool combos with your deck that allow you to build a bunch of trees and then cut them down with the axe. It's a really, really cool back and forth between those two. We've got lumberjacks that provides wood per turn if there's a forest in range, and the logging camp, which provides 1 wood per turn for each forest in range as well. Interesting. I think the logging camp can either support more workers, or I'm not sure why you would want to build this. Provides +1 wood per turn for each for each forest in range is what it is. Whereas this one is 3 wood if at least 1 forest is in range. So if you surround the logging camp with wood, you'll get 1 wood for each forest in that area. We don't really have the space for this, so I'm gonna pass on it. I am gonna take the fishing platform though. I'm looking for a little bit more defense. Here we go. Javelineers. So this is a unit that you can place down, and you can return this card back into your pile at any time. And when you place this down, you're going to get -1 happiness, but they're going to be able to defend against more mobile enemies. So let's definitely grab the Javelineers. And, you know, Miracle Birth gives us access to greater numbers of population. Let's grab the Miracle Birth as well. I think that should be good. Ooh, gain 5 followers is really good as well. For pretty decent stats, let's grab the refuge and this. Hopefully we didn't just overextend ourselves. You'll notice that our deck here is made up of cards in our deck and the cards in our discard. So every time we pick from our 5 cards here and we discard them to the discard deck, we won't get those cards back until we draw through our entire deck. So you got to be really careful about how many cards you're picking up and not pick up too many that your deck is unusable. Let's see. We've got 2 rocks mined by your gold mine. We've got enemies approaching from the northwest. So I'm going to hold off, I think, on building the crossbow tower. This has a pretty limited range. The longbow tower has a much extended range but does less damage. So I think we're going to build this maybe. I don't want to build it within the range of our shrine, unfortunately, but I think we're going to have to. Maybe we could build it here, and that should be a good spot for it. The other one we have is our fishing platform, but it costs 8 gold, and we wouldn't be able to build our crossbow. So I'm going to hold off on building anything until we see where enemies are attacking from. Same thing this turn. We could build the cabin. Let's build the cabin for our population just so that they're not unhoused. And go into the new year. And here they are, attacking from the northwest of our core island here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off people from the gold mine. We are going to employ them in the longbow tower. And when we press end turn, they're going to be able to shoot at the people in the longbow tower there. So let's end turn. The firing of your buildings is random. So sometimes they'll try to put 3 arrows into a single enemy with only 2 HP. So you've got to account for that. But it looks like we've got this fight pretty well run. I don't think we have to worry too much about it. I'm going to throw down our land right there. We can put down a new cabin now that we know that we're relatively safe. We can build a forest, although it doesn't fit in our space. We can't actually build this forest around the foragers, so I'm going to hold off on that. And I'm going to unemploy 2 of our longbow employees and employ them at the mine instead. That's going to put them back in the gold mine so that we go from 5 to 15 gold, and harvest, we'll see our little arrow finish off the Vikings. Sweet! Easy. Not a problem. Now, these cards are interesting. This one gives you 100 wood, but at the end of your turn, you lose all of it. So it's kind of a, hey, if you've got a lot of buildings that you've built up or purchased in your deck that cost wood, this is a great card to use in those kind of scenarios. And you can build, this is the kind of combo building that you can do with your deck as well. I am going to grab the altar. This one's pretty good. It gives you 3 maximum faith per follower in range. We're gonna take that one. And what else? Nature reserve could be kind of interesting. Demolish is kind of interesting. You can use this to demolish not only buildings but rocks or trees in the way and make room for you to build up something new. Let's grab another cabin here. And Hailstorm is a fantastic card. Gives you 2 bleed to enemies within a 5 radius. You can use this 4 times. It costs 9 faith, but honestly, faith comes pretty quickly. I'm going to grab a farm as well. Just thinking about the future and being able to, build up a pretty big colony. And then we've got Pilgrimage. Gain 10 gold for every altar, shrine, or chapel. I'm glad this card came up because it's the reason that I grabbed the altar card. I'm going to grab the Pilgrimage card as well. And gold is probably not going to be too much of a problem for us, so we could probably end there. Perfect. I am going to probably start to move some of these pops over to the forager hut. Now, we don't have any wood in range of this, and I don't see anything I particularly am dying for. We've got 2 extra housing in our cabins, so I'm going to build a refuge, and that's going to give us our 11 pops out of 8, right? We've got 8 rooms for them to live in, so we're going to have to get our cabins. And let's go ahead and build our land as well, like that. And then I'm going to re-roll instead of pressing end turn. What I'm looking for, well, was the altar, but I don't think we can afford this anymore because we don't have the wood for it. I'm looking for, here we go, the forest. To be able to build around our foragers. Much, much, much better. And because we've got 2 foragers in here, and we don't need this, move them here for the happiness. Like that. We've got our 2 foragers in here. We are getting 8 food and 4 wood. So we're gonna see these numbers get a lot better at this point. Let's go ahead and build another cabin for them to live in. And I'm not going to use Miracle Birth because I feel like we already overextended ourselves a bit. Let's re-roll one more time. We've got some more land that we can build. I'm going to build this maybe right here so we can get our last rock around the gold mine. And then Pilgrimage, incredibly powerful ability, but we can use this on our shrine to get just flat out 10 gold. I'm going to hold off on doing that because we don't quite need it yet. Now we've got 3 extra workers that aren't working. We can put them in the gold mine, and that would give us 9 gold. But I think it would be better for us to start building out a farm, maybe right here, next to, on the outskirts of our forager forest. So let's do that, and I think our workers are working in the farm now. Cool. And end turn. We've got Rockfall, which I love. Let's build that up. Only 2 rocks that time, unfortunately, which is too bad. I'm going to press New Year. I don't think we have many resources right now. And then this turn is possibly going to be a big building turn. We've got some land here that we can use to fill in our space. Let's swap that like that. We've got our forest here that we can place around our foragers. And then I don't see any info about attacks, so we're still in the clear in terms of being attacked by people. We can just go ahead and now we've got enemies approaching. And we've got several turns to think about where they might be coming from, so this is good. We've got plenty of time to plan. The fishing platform that we picked up has an interesting radius around it. It provides you food based on the fish that are within range. Now, this game is in early access, like super early access, before it even gets released to other players. So you'll notice that you can't actually see how much food you're getting. On the far right side of the screen there, you can see that I think it's 2 to 4 food for every fish that's within range. So you want to build this at the end of a pier, and that pier allows you to have the biggest radius for your fishing platform. We could build one here. Not bad. We could build one here, but there's no fish there, so we wouldn't get any benefit out of it. I think we're going to build here for now. Possibly. No, let's do here. Let's do here. Because I want to build out this area around our shrine so that enemies have to take a longer way through to come attack it. And let's go into harvest. All right. 48 gold. Let's definitely take ourselves a new cabin. I'm going to re-roll a couple times. A stone house is the upgrade to the cabin, so this is where you might want to use demolish on your own houses to destroy them and upgrade them to the stone house with more housing. Let's grab that for sure. And next, here we've got fish, and I'm glad this one came up because we have almost no fish at our fishing hut. Let's grab the fish card as well and do a re-roll, and here we go. This is where the fun starts. We've got cards that give us big land. So you do start with a few cards that give you land, but this one gives you a ton of land to build on. So I'm going to take the big land card. I've been waiting for something like that to pop up. Lightning is another great defensive spell. We're going to get attacked, so might as well show some spells off too. And let's see what's next. They're going to attack from the northwest again. So building another longbow tower, maybe even further northwest than we have, would be a good idea. Or overlapping our current tower. Let's do one overlapping our current tower right here. We've got our altar, which increases the maximum faith that we can store. I'm going to place this off to the side right there. And then we've got our pilgrimage card, and because this overlaps both a shrine and an altar, we'll just get straight 20 gold, which is fantastic. Love that. And let's go ahead and re-roll just to see what options we can get. Let's get some rock fall here around our gold mine. We just got 5 rocks around the gold mine, which is excellent. I am looking for that fish card. I don't see it though. Here it is. Wonderful. That's going to take a little bit of faith to do, but it is going to give us some food in return. So let's build these fish. And then let's make sure that we actually have... We don't need the happiness. Our happiness is really good. Let's move those over to the fishing platform. And we've got our big land card as well. Now, I don't want to put the big land card here because if I do, it's going to get rid of 1 or 2 of the squares around our fishing platform. So instead, I want to build out our home area. And I want to make sure that I give ourselves enough space that those traditional Tetris pieces actually fit in here, right? If I did this, no piece will fit in those 3 squares that I'm leaving at the top. So I'm going to leave myself a little space there for an L-shaped land. And go into the new year. Here's our attack. So let's move our pops over from the gold mine into the longbow tower, and let's refresh and grab Hailstorm. Here we go. So Hailstorm is a spell that we can cast. It gives bleed to enemies, so I'm just going to cast that on them there and end our turn. Fire off a couple shots on them. Wonderful. I think this guy's probably going to die at the end of his turn because of the bleed, right? Yeah. And we're done. Easy. That was a really easy one because the spells give you a massive advantage against attackers. I love that decision-making that you have to make between creating and choosing spells versus having these really permanent towers like the longbow towers and the crossbow towers and stuff. All right. We've got a gold mine in our deck. I'd love to build another gold mine, but We have 60 out of 60 gold. What am I talking about? We don't need it. We don't need it. Our resources are actually really, really good. So let's go into the harvest phase and spend a whole bunch of money. I'm going to grab some... let's grab some foragers, because as our area expands, we're going to need more of them. And I'm really looking for land here. Big land I'll take for sure. What else? The windmill is fantastic. It gives you +2 food for every farm tile in range, which just... if you have a single farmer on a farm, the windmill is going to give you 2 food per square of that farm. It's a really, really great card. Rockfall, of course, just because I think our Rockfall card is starting to run out. Because we grabbed that windmill, let's grab some more farms. And then really what I am looking for is... fish isn't bad. I am looking for some more land. I don't see it. We didn't get lucky. No, that's all right. I'm just going to exit now. We've got our big land card anyway, which just popped up here. So we can always place this down and use this for the time being. We connected to this island, which means we can connect off of it, but the big land is a little bit too big to fit there. So I think if we do it here, my Tetris skills have never... oh, you know what? We don't want to fill up those 2 spaces there. I'm just going to build it up at the top here. Like that. That's fine. And then let's get our fish back in the area here. I think it's preventing us from doing this because, unfortunately, we have a fish tile already built. So let's do this and get ourselves 2 fish. And then turn. And let's build another forest if we can. We can't actually make it fit with what we have, so that's not going to work. We could probably use the refuge and get 5 more followers. Might as well. I probably should have re-rolled rather than going in the next turn there. We've got ourselves a big land. Now this is going to kind of isolate this one spot. There is a land card that fills this tiny little water space, so no problem there. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. We do need to make sure our gold mine is actually being worked. That'd be good. Because right now we can't really... oh, here we go. We'll use pilgrimage to get our gold back. And let's build up a few more farms. I am looking for that windmill. Here we go. Now the windmill is going to give us 2 food per worked square. So if we actually take some people off of our foragers and we put them on this farm. Right now the windmill is making... does it tell us? Oh, we need a worker here. There we go. Is making 8 food. If we actually work this, I think from our long tower, we've got a whole bunch of workers that should have been doing work. Boom. Our windmill's now making 16 food per turn. That is just ridiculous. But you're going to need it, honestly, if you want a larger colony. And let's go ahead and end. Still no threat of attack, which is good. We've got double big land cards right now, so let's go ahead and build a bunch of space. This could have actually been our farm if we had just been a little bit more patient, but you know, you got to get these things out so that your resources don't hurt too much. Let's go ahead and re-roll once. We've got the stone house, which would be great to build. That's 5 faith right there. And let's go into harvest. I am now looking for, here we go, a wonder. So I'm going to build the Colosseum just to show what this looks like. I don't think we're necessarily ready to defend against this, but maybe with some cards like Meteor Storm, we could be. We could also go just total, like, salt the earth and take Earthquake and destroy our own buildings to defend against people, but I think this should be good. I want to make sure I save enough gold for the Colosseum itself, which I can't build because I don't have the wood. Ugh. Let's try to get that. End turn. Let's see, we've got 8 wood. 1 more turn before the enemies attack. I think we should be able to get this before this happens. So let's go ahead and refresh. We know it's in the deck there somewhere. We've got plenty of faith to just cycle through our cards, and here's the Colosseum. Wonderful. 10, 10, and 10. It's not cheap, but we're going to place this somewhere. Maybe somewhere we can defend. I wouldn't recommend placing it next to your altar, but because we're just showing it off, let's do that. And let's now make sure that we get all of the defenses we possibly can. I would place this big land, but it costs us faith, which we could be using for defenses instead. In fact, you know what? Let's do this. And then that way, if they attack us, they can only attack us from the north. Okay. We've got a whole bunch of spells. In fact, if I could even take that one step further, could I just build here and fit one more in there? We might be able to have a pretty nice little defense against them. I don't want to refresh this too much because if we do, we're going to burn out all of our faith. Maybe a forager for the wood, like that. That should be fine. Let's give it a go. So we've got a big attack now from enemies coming in from all sides, and we have to defend against this. Our spell, Lightning, is really great. It just basically yeets one of their people to death. It's fantastic. Let's go ahead and throw that down, kill one of them, and let's recycle our faith. We can show off the Javelineers here. This is a unit that you place down. It actually costs you one of your followers to place it, I think. And they will do bleeding attacks against the enemies that are coming in to attack you. So that will help. I just lost the crossbow tower on accident. I completely forgot it was there. We've got lightning again. I'm going to use it on a Viking because the Vikings have 3 health now. And here we go, Meteor Storm. Let's go ahead and use that. Ooh, this is a tough one. We could use it here and it would destroy our altar. Could we use it like that? No. Maybe on these up here. Yeah, let's use it on these up here. Do 3 damage to, or 2 damage to each one of those. This has started a fire, which will actually spread if you don't put it out, so you gotta be careful about starting too many fires. And we've got a crossbow tower here that I definitely want to place down and make sure that we have worked. Put somebody in this longbow tower. I don't think anybody's actually gonna attack it. And maybe a hailstorm here. That's better, to cause that bleed on these, because I think they only have 1 HP. This is probably gonna bleed them after their turn. And let's go ahead and harvest. All right, we took out a decent number of them on the west side. These, what are they called? Wraiths? Ghosts? I can't remember exactly what they are destroying our Colosseum. Hopefully they actually don't get a kill off of it. Let's grab a tower there just in case, and a Javelineers so that we're a little bit more mobile. Hailstorm is always good to have. Lightning is just my favorite one in the game. And yeah, oh, beautiful. They blessed us with a hailstorm. We can hailstorm them there. We can even do a lightning against this one here because we don't have much defense on this side. And I think our Javelineers are going to be able to kill... Oh, it's a Blight Witch is what it's called. We're going to be able to kill that Blight Witch. Let's just off it with some lightning. Done. Done. So plus 35 VP for defeating a wave of enemies, and we got the 40 victory points from the Colosseum that are contributing towards victory at the end of the game, which is this gauge in the upper right-hand corner. I really like these Doomed Isles. I have played this several times over and over and over again, and I really kind of got sucked into it. I can see just the absolute ridiculous expansion of your colony that you can build with all these spaces, and you can build some really cool efficient builds like this windmill and farms build that we saw here. There are other buildings like the bakery that double the effect of the windmill, so you can build systems on top of systems and create a deck that actually is fun to use. You know, as we were cycling through, we can actually see all the cards that are inside of our deck right now. You might even be able to see the discarded cards, right? So you know what could come up and what couldn't come up, because if it's in your discard, it won't show up in your deck. I really cannot wait for this game to come out and more people to play it. But beyond that, I can't wait to see what other cards they might add to this. You could see how the game could be expanded with expansion packs, ideally free DLC, but you know, you never know with these kind of games. You could see a booster pack of cards that could have some really special effects, especially with the faith cards that allow you to cast spells. There is a ton of potential for this game. Maybe even, and this is me throwing this idea out there, maybe even the ability for your colony to work through the eras and go from what is kind of a medieval-ish feeling era into maybe a more modern era and then a sci-fi era would be super freaking cool to see. This was These Doomed Isles, but is it good? I'd say absolutely. Keep your eye out for this one when it releases. I don't have information about the price, but you'll see it pop up on Steam. Enjoy. If you found this exciting, interesting, informative, don't forget to hit the follow button, subscribe to the channel for more indie games, and I will see you in our next video. See you soon.